the news that didn't make the news. Attempt number 3. Third time is a charm. Or let's hope. So, hello and welcome back to time number 3 here. Had to rearrange just a little bit. I don't know what's going on with technology. My computer has shut off twice now, and then YouTube is telling me that I am offline on top of that. So let's see how this goes. Okay. We have just days left of 2023. So here's wishing everyone a peaceful and prosperous and amazing, fruitful, adventurous journey in 2024. 2023 is a 7 in numerology, so it's all about the mystical deep dive into the path where we decide exactly what it is that we want and we dive into that path. And it's all about, sevens are all about not only the mystical, magical journey of spirituality, it's also about, in regards to that, overcoming external obstacles in physical, emotional, spiritual reality as well. So here's to 2024, which is an 8. 8 talks about the infinite energy, talks about abundance, it talks about money, it talks about event, it talks about intimate and close personal connectedness, a connectedness that never has no beginning and has no end. And many of us have beautiful relationships with no beginning and no end, because it seems that at this time we've come here to take this journey with many souls that we have already taken this same journey with, right? So this year also is going to be about wrapping up loose ends from the last 2 years. So the year prior, 2022, was a 6, and 6 is about the lover's connection, but it was always about having a choice. How do we look at life? How do we look at abundance? What does it mean to be prosperous and abundant? Is prosperity and abundance about the house we live in, the cars we collect, the things we store in our houses, the clothes in our closet, our shoes, our purses, our accessories, the way we show ourselves to the outside surrounding world? It is a part of it, but the important part is the infinite connections. So in 2022, we really, with the amped up solar energy and all the other cosmic shifts and the planetary shift and this massive awakening, we began to really be faced with some major choices in 2022. Is this house the right house for me? Is this geographical location fit my journey? Does the partner that I'm with or the partnership I'm in, does it fit my journey? Are there people in my presence or in my life that don't deserve a rightful spot in that life? Or do I have everything I want? So this energy from 2022 is coming to a culmination at the end of this year, because there were so many choices in the year of the 6 on the spiritual journey, which led us to last year, where we only have a couple days left. And this last year has been about overcoming the obstacles in our external reality, taking a deep dive and deciding what is a true obstacle. Are some of these obstacles in my imagination? Am I myself creating some of these obstacles? So we have a lot to look at here, but 2024 is an 8. So that's an energy of infinity, okay? Your infinite choices to overcome obstacles, the last 24 months of energy is leading us up to what we have chosen. and what we have overcome, working itself into a journey that says, whatever doesn't make my cup feel that it runneth over, I shall walk away and walk towards my happiness, towards my bliss, towards my emotional contentment. In the last video, I talked briefly about being married to things that don't serve me, or being married to things that don't serve you, and where we are also married to things on a planetary scale that don't serve the planet, that don't serve sentient life, and that don't serve peace, prosperity, generosity, and authenticity for us as a whole. So, one of the most important things about that infinite connection with your job, with your geographical location, with your friends, with your neighbors, with your loved ones, is a choice that we all have to make. In that infinite loop of energy, it's telling you, and never before, the energy of being in an infinite connection. If you look at the number 8, like, where does it start, right? Where does it stop? Where does it end? And it doesn't. So that tells you that this year in particular, anything that we are connected to is an infinite connectedness. So, first and foremost, you must know yourself, you must love yourself, you must honor yourself, and treat yourself like you are everything that you have ever wanted. And if you don't do this, you will find in your jobs, in your place of in your place of living, in your friends and family circle, in your partnerships, that people will not treat you the way you say you want to be treated. They will look at you and your life as an example, right? So if you tell someone, no, I don't want to, do something with you, but they know you're doing that thing all the time and you're contradicting yourself, people will treat you the way you are living. Okay. So if you say, oh, I don't accept calls after 10 o'clock, or I don't accept last minute dates, or I don't accept job opportunities that are below my pay scale, but you are doing those things, your life is a living example of how you want to be treated, how you want the world to shape itself during this awakening. So if you're saying, no, I won't take last minute opportunities, but you're leaving your phone on all night and answering people at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're not showing those people that you mean what you say. Your life is a living opportunity to heal, to love, to honor, and to respect yourself. However, you are loving, honoring, treating yourself is how other people are going to treat you. Now, I've seen many people go through this, like, oh, I told this guy this, or I told my mom to stop telling me this, or acting like this, or treating me this way. But what you'll notice is that those people that are treating you in a way that you don't like, when you change how you treat yourself, how you love yourself, how you respect and honor yourself, those people around you will change how they treat you. Okay, so they will either match the energy of you or they will exit stage left. Either way, it works out perfectly, as it should, for your life and for your journey. So ask yourself, what are you married to? And it's funny, I talked briefly about this in the last video, and then 2 people said to me, well, I don't want to be married to this job, or I don't want to be married to a lease, so I don't want to sign a lease, or I don't want to be. And I thought it was funny that that happened right after I talked about it, that so many people had come to me and said that. Um, it is funny when people do pay attention, because I had a friend call me after watching my video, and the first thing he said was, "Am I disrupting your dinner?" And I said, "No." And he said, "So I had some hot chocolate today and it was so good. I can't help but to wonder if the solar flare directed at you had something to do with my hot chocolate." Now, this is someone that, as far as I know, has never seen a single video. And I'm like, you either just saw my last video, or you're just you're just over the edge and you're kind of freaking me out right now. And he laughed and he said, "No, I watched your last video." So that was funny. But in this year of infinite possibility, the way in which you treat yourself, the way in which you love and honor and respect yourself, is the feedback that you're going to get, not only from the quantum field of all that is, but also the people in your surroundings. They will either conform is not the wrong word. I don't know why that popped into my head, but they will either see how you treat yourself and your life and want to be a part of that, or they won't. And I'm not saying we don't compromise, we don't bend, we don't, whatever. I'm not saying that. But I think a lot of you know what I'm saying. We all have people in our lives that want to be in our lives, but maybe they don't respect your schedule, or they constantly call you when you're working out 10 times, even though you've told them you're working out, stuff like that. So, boundaries is going to be so incredibly, incredibly important. And boundaries are always important. But when we're in a space of infinity, of infinite creation, of infinite co creation with other people and the situations in our lives, boundaries will be absolutely paramount this year. And one of the biggest things that's going to help you, and I've been doing a lot of this, maybe I've been doing a little bit too much of it sometimes, but when we are in the stage of creation or manifestation or co-creation with any person or any situation, those other people's thoughts and ideas and creative notions are going to come to you and have the ability to really push you, to really help you see things clearly, to help you thrive, to give you inspiration and passion and desire for what you want to do. But one of the most important things in this year of infinite creation, abundance, prosperity, joy, and peace, that never ending loop of infinity that starts with what I create within myself and in my life. What am I telling myself is possible? Do I need to rethink what is possible? Do I need to let go of things that make me feel like I'm weighted down, right? If we walk around with a weight, or if we walk around with a burden, or anything that we're carrying on our back that is making us less capable of manifestation and creation, that thing has to be walked away from. People have such a hard time letting go of things, letting go of jobs, relationships, people. I get it. I'm right there with you. I'm very resistant sometimes, I think, to let go of people. I'll blame that on the 6 placements of Scorpio in my chart, who probably sometimes gets in the fight with the 2 aspects of Libra in my chart that say, come on, be balanced, be rational, be diplomatic, right? And then 2 placements in Virgo that say, get it together, Tina, just be practical, okay? But the practical solution for this upcoming year that's going to be so incredibly important for you is to know that when you are in this space of infinite abundance and infinite creation and infinite co-creation with other energies, that minding your own business is therapeutic. Okay. And for this year, I'll say minding your own business is the most therapeutic thing that you can do. If it doesn't directly relate to you, if you're not directly responsible for it, if you're not directly involved in the situation, see yourself out of it. This is the reason I have mostly been off of social media for the past 2 years, minus making videos and going on Facebook and doing the live tarot and stuff like that. But so if I see something at the moment on Facebook or YouTube or whatever that I don't agree with or that I don't like, I don't give it my time and energy, because then my algorithm of YouTube and Facebook or whatever social media platform you are on will give you more of the same thing that you're interacting with. Okay, so the algorithm of social media is meant to give you more of what you're stopping on, more of what you're not scrolling past, more of what you're reading the comments on, more of what you're commenting on. So if you disagree with something or don't like something on social media, but you're giving it attention, you're giving it a thumbs down, you're giving it a comment, you're even maybe becoming argumentative or passive aggressive with other people, that algorithm is going to show you more of that which you do not like and that which you do not wish to create. Where your attention goes, where your energy flows, is what you create more of. But the algorithm of your life is exactly like social media. Now, you may notice it on social media, and maybe it's a little bit less easy to spot the synchronicity that your life is showing you things exactly with an algorithm like social media. Oh, I don't like what the neighbor is doing across the street and down the block, so I go over there and get involved in it. I will see more of it. I will create seeing it on social media. I'll create having my neighbors speak to me about it. The best advice that you can give yourself, that you can practice yourself this year, is knowing that minding your own business is going to be the most therapeutic thing you can do. And again, if you're directly involved in a situation, then I'm not speaking to that. I'm speaking to the things on social media that you don't like, the things in your neighborhood that you don't like, someone yelling at you at the car window when you're walking or whatever. When you give it attention, you get more of it. The algorithm of your life for this coming year is to infinitely bounce back and respond to you by what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you're putting out. And that is always the same, because that's how the quantum field works. Whatever I think about, whatever I feel into, whatever I take a deep dive into, the algorithm of my life through my family, my friends, and my coworkers is going to give me more of that same thing. Unless you feel like creating more karma for yourself or more lessons for yourself, we're at a point on the first wave of ascension where we don't need to create karma. We don't need to create any more lessons. And the biggest way we can not create that kind of energy right now is to stay out of things that we don't wish to see and stay out of things that we don't wish to create. Minding our own business in 2024 is going to be the most therapeutic thing you can do for yourself. Another thing for 2024 is going to be huge. Notice when you are triggered by any person, place, thing, subject matter, um, indoctrination, religion, food stuff, whatever it is that you're triggering. We all know what it is to be triggered. We all know what that feels like. Not fun, right? But the big reason for that trigger is to let you know that there is something there for you to heal. Okay. So I'm not advocating to totally ignore the trigger. What I'm saying to you is there's never been a better time than 2024 and the infinite possibility of creation, co-creation, and manifestation to be very mindful and be very cautious and mindful about what is triggering you. Okay, because whatever it is that's triggering you is telling you that within that space where that subject is the opportunity to heal. Okay, so when something triggers you, instead of responding to it, my suggestion would be to take a deep breath, step away from that situation, social media, phone call, whatever that trigger is for you. Step back from that and ask yourself, why does this bother me? Why does this trigger me? Okay. Um, yes. Trigger in 2024, if you haven't looked at the things that trigger you already, okay, because I see people on the internet arguing everything from religious to politics to the best way to manifest, whether certain relationship dynamics even exist. You know what? Everybody just let everyone believe what they want to believe. But if something is triggering you every time you see the word twin flame, or every time you see the word, Republican candidate, or whatever your trigger is, know that your trigger is your opportunity to heal. I should stop talking like an Italian with my hands on the table because I'm shaking this phone and it's gyrating my face back and forth. Okay. More than anything you can say, more than what you can do, is to know that you, yourself, the way you treat yourself, the way you love yourself, the way you care for yourself, the way you manage your life, and what you're married to is your message to the world, right? Now, I've always been suspicious of certain type of personalities, and I remember seeing Jim and Tammy Baker. I want to say it was like in the 80s on the television, and being triggered by that, knowing there was something wrong, but not knowing until I think it was 3 decades later, what was under the surface that was bothering me about that situation. It wasn't church, it wasn't religion. I was too young to have any real aversion to any of that. But I secretly, internally knew with my intuition that there's something beyond and below the surface of Jim and Tammy Baker that was the exact opposite of what they said, right? So you may know people on social media who consider themselves, gurus or relationship counselors or life coaches. But when you look at their life, you think, are they living their life as an example of what they're coaching or what they're preaching or what they're teaching, right? Because your life is the message. And I really love you guys, and some of you know me so well, but I had a tarot reading scheduled a couple of weeks ago, right? And so some of you know that the things that I say are the way that reality is in my household, right? So I had a reading with someone at 3 o'clock, and she messaged me at 1:30 and said, I really have to tell you this. I'm sure you're about to get ready and go take your walk. I know that's what you're doing. And I had to laugh because I was literally bent over tying my shoes when she sent the message. There's someone who sees that what I say is what I do. So during, for any video that I make, any tarot reading, any session that I have, I always walk 6 miles before that because I want to be the clearest, most connected version of myself when I'm putting myself out there to help someone else. Now, this is really weird, but I noticed there's no comments on here, so but there are still 5 people here, so I'm going to assume this is working. So when people get the message, that's because you're living by an example, right? So here's a good one. The United States, what is she? The ambassador of health, or the I forget what the term is actually, in the United States. So the lady that is in the governmental branch in charge of like health and wellness, looks like she's 1 foot from stepping on a banana peel and going into the grave. Dark circles under the eyes, overweight, etc. You get my point here, right? It's not what you say to someone on social media or how you stand up for yourself or stand up for what you believe in. Your life is not only your message, your life is your most potent message, right? Again, you can't say to someone, oh, don't call me after midnight. I go to sleep at 9 o'clock, and they see that, the little green light on Facebook, and they know you're up and they know you're scrolling social media, right? So saying one thing and doing another. Plus, the amount of people who have amped up psychic ability right now is astronomical. So even if you're making a video about tarot or aliens or ancient artifacts or whatever, if you are not speaking the truth that you know to be the truth, doesn't have to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay. But if you're not speaking the truth of what you know to be the truth, as far as your, personal internal knowledge, there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of people on this planet that are not going to watch you because they're going to know that. For instance, there's this lady that comes up in my feed, makeup tutorials are all the rage. And every time I watch one of these, some of them are like a car wreck that you can't look away from. I don't wear much makeup and I don't intentionally seek out tutorials. However, this lady came up really thick, like Boston accent, real young, like probably in her 20s or something. And I don't watch her for the makeup. I watch her because she's so freaking funny. And more than her funniness, her humor, her candidness, and the levity, is her authenticity. I'm just drawn into authenticity. Doesn't even matter. I mean, you could be like pouring a concrete sidewalk. If you're like totally into it, I'm going to find myself absolutely glued to your vibration of authenticity. So know that this is a year of infinite creation, infinite co-creation, and more than what you are thinking. People are going to respond and treat you by the way you're living, by your example of how you treat people. Okay. And whatever is meant for you does not come to you by faking it. You go into a job interview. Oh my gosh, this is the greatest company ever. I love your business model, and you've done all this homework, right? And you're just trying to be appealing to them, instead of focusing on the fact that you yourself are the magnet, right? You yourself are the abundance. You yourself are the gift to whatever situation you're wanting to manifest. But where we screw that up is pretending to be something on a date that we're not, or in a job interview that we're not. So our authenticity, right? And living your life is your message more than anything you could put on social media. It's more than anything you could write about or film about or make a documentary or write a book about. Your authenticity means that whatever is meant for you is meant for you. Now, when you're going to a job interview, yes, you should research a company. Yes, you should be honest about why you think you would fit in or why you think you'd be a great, candidate for that job. Okay. But if they start talking about things that don't jive with you, we shouldn't sit there and pretend that we're in the same space or same vibe or same frequency when we walked in there, not knowing certain things about the company. For example, like you find out, that it's a place that ships and receives 2,000 boxes a day and they don't recycle anything. Or just to give you an example, same thing, right? You're going on, dates or meeting people on dating websites, like, oh, this person's really attractive, this person makes a lot of money. Okay, bottom line, who gives a shit? Okay, you shouldn't, because when you are looking for a job or looking for a partner or looking for a place to live or looking for anything to create, co-create, or manifest, if you are in your authenticity, then, and speaking your truth, living that personal authenticity, then what is meant for you is going to be meant for you. I can't even imagine doing online dating. It's something I tried like 20 years ago, and the people represented themselves. They were authentic. They were who they were. But, it's like going on a job interview every time you have every time you speak to someone on a dating profile. So I can't imagine doing that now. But in doing that, or having dinner with someone, or going bowling, or whatever you're doing on a date, be yourself, right? Because people get into this saying, well, this person looks really good, or sounds really good, or they're really smart and they're really educated. Okay, that's great. But people in the getting to know process, you can figure out very quickly, is this person cool? Is this person on my vibe? But you won't be able to figure that out if you're sitting there smiling and thinking, wow, this person's really good looking. I hope they think I'm good looking. I hope they think I'm smart. I hope they think I'm charming. Okay. Focus on being yourself. And the biggest reason for this, to just be authentic and focus on yourself, is if you don't, you're slowing down the process by any of that fakery. Okay. So in infinite creation and infinite co-creation, infinite manifestation, we want to be, live and breathe our authentic self. Okay. I met a guy a couple of years ago, very good looking, all these things, right? So we talked a couple of times, and the second time he called me, and I think I've told this story before, but it cracks me up. I think I will laugh about this until I'm 100. So we were talking, and he said something to me, and I finished his sentence. It's a habit, and anybody that's ever talked to me, I don't mean to be disruptive, but sometimes things happen, or like when I'm talking to someone, if they pause, a lot of times I'll see imagery like when someone's talking. So you may be talking to me, and you know how people sometimes, like, they're grabbing for the word and they can't quite come up with it. And I'll be like, scissors. And they'll be like, how'd you know? Because I saw the scissors like right over your head. But anyway, so I'm having a conversation with this guy on the phone, and I finished a sentence or said something he was thinking or something like that. And he said, what are you, psychic? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, that's not fair for the other person. I was born like this. I can't help it, right? Like, you can't change, you shouldn't want to change who you are, because almost everybody I meet pretty quickly knows at a bare minimum that I'm super intuitive, right? And super connected or plugged in or whatever you want to call it. Okay. If who you are at an authentic level is bothersome to someone, we can't pretend. So we had a couple of conversations, right? We had never even made it to going out on a date. I could have, when he said, oh, are you psychic? And I could have said, oh, everybody's intuitive. Or I could have just blown it off or made up some excuse so that I could have had the date with a good looking, nice, charming person. But I didn't do that because I knew if it was scary and intimidating to someone to have an intuitive or psychic partner, that it was never going to work out because, as we all know, everyone's gifts are amping up. And this was 2018. This person said this to me. So we can't look at our gifts as a hindrance, right? The gifts are becoming stronger every day. And if we try to hide them or look at those gifts like they're a hindrance, we only stop ourselves from creating and manifesting the life of our dreams. So if someone doesn't like it that you're intuitive or that you're psychic or that you can clap with one hand or whatever you've got going on over there, okay, thank you, next is the attitude, right? We are all a prize in our own right, okay? But not everyone will see you as the prize. And I don't need to get on stage and do a one-man show or a soliloquy so that someone will begin to like me or begin to trust me or open up to me or anything else. That's a choice. You either want to do that or you don't want to do that. Because the thing is, you may try to hide your gifts, try to pretend to not be psychic or not be clairvoyant or clairaudient or clairsentient. You may try to pretend that you don't hear your ancestors or, departed family loved ones from the other side. But there is someone who will, in your jobs, in your family dynamic, in your personal relationships, in your partnerships, there are things that will scare one person and delight another. Okay. There are things that will scare one person and absolutely fascinate another person. That same thing goes with the way you look, the way you act, your personality, your gifts. You are not missing anything. If you are authentic, you will magnetize those people that find your gifts, your quirky attitude, your off the wall weird personality, or your ability to open up and to people immediately, whatever. All these amazing things are happening to us. Okay. This is a year of infinite creation. This is a year of infinite co-creation. This is a year of infinite abundance and infinite manifestation. But the fastest way to achieving those things is by being who you authentically are and living your life, knowing that the way you live your life, okay, is your message, right? I've seen, it's funny, we all see these things, but you'll see people who are, famous on social media. They're spiritual gurus or whatever, and someone will take a video of them in a restaurant, cussing out a waiter for putting lemon in the water when they ordered water without lemon. Okay. So your life is your message, and your life is your most important message. This year is about taking a deep dive into self, right? So if I'm going on a date or if I'm going into a job interview and I'm selling myself something different than who I am, what I am, all of that, it doesn't help me to know myself, right? When I take a deep dive into myself and say, this is what I like. Okay, these are the things that I love. These are the things I can't live without doing every day. These are the people that I can't live without having in my life. Okay, we're at the point, this whole year is about overcoming external obstacles on the mystical journey of courtship. Okay, now you're courting the land that you live on, you're courting the job that you go to work that you have every day, or maybe you stay at home, but you're still courting that situation, and you're courting people, whether you're married to them or it's your first date or whatever. It's so important. How can I describe to someone who I am or what I want in a relationship if I don't know myself, right? When we go from one relationship to the next, we don't get a chance to get to know ourselves, I know have met so many people like this, right? What's the reason you don't want to take a breather between one relationship or and another? Okay. Sometimes there are things outside of these circumstances. In this case, I'm not referring to those things. But you spend time alone to get to know who you are. If you can't have any time off work, people have this same kind of thing after they get divorced, or they have the same thing, when they retire from a job or shift careers. They don't know what to do with themselves. They don't know what to do with their free time. They don't know what brings them joy. They're so used to mechanically going through life saying, I'm courting this person, I'm married to this situation, I'm married to this job. But you are courting the land you live on. You are courting the people you're courting. You're courting the people you're married to. You're courting the job that you have. So it's important for you to have taken a really deep dive into yourself and know who you are. Now, some people get married young, okay? Many people get married too young. They really like someone, but they don't know who they are yet. So 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line, when you have two people with two separate jobs and two separate realms of interest and two separate set of friends and things like that, you can come to this realization that yes, there were things in the relationship, there was a bonding in the relationship, or many things that worked for you at the time. But in this spiritual journey, what I've noticed through doing tarot readings for the last almost 3 years now, is there are so many people that got into situations and then had this massive awakening, and they got into a situation where the other person has not chosen to awaken outside of the awakenedness of 3D. Now, what the main thing that happens for the person on the first wave of consciousness when they're married or in a relationship with this kind of job or situation or partner that has not chosen to awaken outside the 3D, it becomes an incredibly difficult, heart-wrenching, burdenous struggle for your own health, for your own happiness, for everything. So we have to learn to take a deep dive into self and know who we are enough to know who we want. Now, I'm not chastising people that got married in their 20s or 30s or 40s. It's not like we have a roadmap for this ascension process. It's not like I knew when I got married to this person that, here comes 2017 and, the rest of our circle is awake, but this person didn't choose to. So you can imagine how tough that would be for both people, right? The person who has not decided the ascension path for right now is probably looking at the 3D world like, wow, this is a catastrophic mess, or an apocalyptic mess, or like some kind of massive ending, like of civilization as we know it, right? So you've got one person studying and going through rainbows and unicorns, not always, but the majority of the time, and learning how to self-care, have gotten to know themselves very intimately when the ascension process started, and the other person hasn't. That's why 2 years ago, there was all this energy of year 2022, which was a 6 of making a choice. What fulfills me? What brings me joy? Okay. And this is across the board for where we're living, what we're doing for a living, the partners we've chosen. Everything changes when the ascension process starts. Okay. I know you know that. Okay. And lastly, in this infinite possibility year number 8, it is not you against the world. It's not you against the president. It's not you against social media. It's not you against the Illuminati or your family or your partner. Okay. This coming year, starting in a couple of days, Happy New Year. This year is about you versus you. What do I want? Okay, I want this thing. Is that what I'm doing? I want to be an Olympic athlete. Okay, am I watching television? Am I watching TikTok videos of Olympic athletes? Or am I out there busting my butt to get in the best shape of my life? Okay, it's you versus you this year. What do you want? Are you doing what you want? What did you go to school for? Where's your college degree? Do you still like that? Do you still love that? The only way to have peace and love and harmony and fulfillment and all the things that we all want is to do the things that we want to do, which might not necessarily be the person we're living with, okay? It might not necessarily be the job we're married to or the job we're courting, and it might not be the place we live, and it might not be the geographical location, okay? But this year, the infinite energy of this year, of number 8, is your energy is in competition with your own energy. Now, not in a competition to see who's better, real Tina or imaginary Tina. Though I suppose we could look at that. If I want to be an athlete, I need to train for it. If I want to switch careers, I need to do it. If I don't want to be with this partner anymore, I need to leave it. This year is about you versus you. Do you want to be the happiest, healthiest version of you? But you're doing things that make you feel heavy or feel burdened or feel disparaged, you know? 2024 is you versus you. It's you versus, I love this, but I'm not doing this. I want to do this, I'm not doing this. You versus you. So maybe I never write things down like this. I never do New Year's resolutions. I never ever have. But I think this year might be the first time now that I'm 53 years old. I think I might want to make a list. It's me versus me right now in 2024. It's you versus you. Are you doing what brings you joy? Are you doing what brings you bliss? Because all of those categories in your life, those 6 or 7 different things, that finances, relationships, health, goals, wellness, peace, prosperity, it's all one thing. When you take a deep dive into who you authentically are, right? You won't run into that guy like me that says, oh, what are you, psychic? That's not fair. Okay, well, I am, so I guess this is not going to work, is what I said to the person. Okay, we have to do that. We have to move along when something is not working. This year is all about you versus you. What do you want? What do you dream? What gives you inspiration? What gives you passion? What gives you desire? And are you doing that? How long are you going to wait before you do that? Right? Your intuition knows what to do. Your intuition has known what to do since the year of the 6, which is 2022. Okay, how long is it going to take you? How long is it going to take me? How long is it going to take us? Okay, because what is so important for you to realize is anything that you are waiting for, money, job, partner, new house, whatever it is literally waiting on you. If you're on the first wave, you have the most energy, the most heightened senses, the most inline upgraded gifts, right? This is not a knock to anyone else. I'm specifically talking about you, what you want, you versus you this year, okay? This coming year, you versus you is going to be boiled down to that. Am I going after what it is that I want? Am I being myself? And when you are yourself, you'll find that you don't have to work on 6 or 7 different areas in your life. Okay? And whatever is meant for you comes into your life by speaking your truth, speaking your truth, living in your authentic self, knowing me. If I don't know what I want, I can't attract what I want, right? Your life is your message. And your life being your message is more potent and more powerful than anything you could say or do on social media. Okay? So, Mercury retrograde likes to play havoc on technology. This is my third attempt at making this video. I see that 5 of you are still here, so I'm hoping that it worked out okay, even though I haven't seen one single message. That may be a Mercury blessing in disguise for me, with what I've gone through in the last several videos. So maybe people not being able to comment is a good thing. Your life is your message, and this coming year, it's you versus you. Okay, where's your passion? Where's your desire? Where's your interest? Where is your fascination? And believe me when I say that being authentic will speed up your process of magnetizing everything that you want in your life, right? So if I want a partner that's fascinated by psychic ability, that's on my wave of consciousness frequency, then I don't go around trying to hide the fact that I'm psychic, because I'll attract someone that's trying to hide things about themselves, about their lives, whatever it is. This beautiful coming year, peace, prosperity, love, and abundance. Go on this journey knowing it's not you against the outside world. This year, it's you versus you. Stay in love, stay in peace, stay in joy. Sorry that I haven't reached out to but just maybe 1 or 2 of you. I have been making cookies for 9 days and wrapping presents for 2 days. And our Christmas celebration is tomorrow, and I still have to cook. But I'm like, for the love of God, if I don't get on here and make this video, because I have a whole video that I was going to make. Oh gosh, it's dated 12/15, so that was quite a while ago, that I never made. Try to make that, but I knew if I didn't get on here that I wasn't going to be making a video until after New Year's. This video is as long as I am old. Wow, talk about you versus you. Okay, I love you. Have an amazing holiday. Stay in peace. And remember, this year is you versus you. And minding your own business is very therapeutic. Okay, keep that in mind. Minding our own business is very therapeutic. I love you. And until next time, goodbye.